Welcome back to Kingdom Cast. It's your host Chuck. We back after another episode. We apologize for technical difficulties. Technology has not been on our side. If you're here in Kansas City, it is currently snowing. It's coming down quite a bit, so it's kind of affecting things. But we're here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share on social media platforms. The panel here, my guy D-Max on the top right, my guy Boogie's on the bottom of the screen. So, yeah, Christmas got ruined yesterday. Jack Jones, he stopped the act. So, yeah, he jacked Christmas along with the rest of the Raiders. We lost 20-14, our final score. We see some of the same issues. Defense been playing lights out. They was out on the field like pretty much the entire game. When it was time to get it stopped, they couldn't get it done. But hey, I can't get mad at them for that. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked them to stack the box. You know what I'm saying? Because O'Connell, he didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. He literally didn't put up a
After the
stat.
what?
Yeah, after the first quarter, he didn't put up a stat. Not one single stat.
He had 62 passing yards and none after the first quarter.
No passing yards after the first quarter is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Yeah, big facts, bro.
Hey, I'm sorry, Chuck. I want that trending right now, respectfully. Where country, please. Hashtag where country and tag Kingdom Cast, please, y'all. Please do that because I want to know too, respectfully. Please.
Yeah, I don't know where country yet. I thought he was gonna be here. I don't know. So, but yeah, man. Great defense. Defense been balling out all season long, but on offense, we still see some of the same issues. Wide receivers, they run wrong routes. They not catching the ball. They not attacking the ball at times. Offensive line was the worst I've seen play all season long. Like we clearly got pumped in the trenches. Max Crosby, he did his thing, but Malcolm Koos was really the guy. I mean, I felt like with his performance, he earned Defense Player of the Week, in my opinion, or he's at least a candidate. Like he had 3 sacks. I think he had 4 quarterback hits. He had 6 tackles. Like the man was doing it all on that left side. It's pretty much a rough one from Wanye Morrison, man. But he's a rookie. It happens. But my thing is this, bro. Like we've been blaming the wide receivers all year long. We've been blaming other stuff all year long, and that's justified. Granted, but I just want that some of that same blame on Patrick Mahomes too. Because look, while he has been carrying the offense, I understand that he's been doing a lot. He's had to deal with a lot, playing quarterback in this offense this year. But at the same time, I'm not about to sit here and act like he ain't missing reads himself. Like I've seen this one in the Bills game. I saw it yesterday, and hell, I even saw it the first time we won against the Raiders this year. So he's not above criticism to me, in my opinion. Now, is he the main problem? No. But and at the same time, look, playing quarterback in the league is tough. Nobody's gonna be perfect every week. I understand that. And like we had a stretch before where we struggled in the we went 3-4 and we got it together. But this has been an ongoing thing throughout the course of the year, man. That's just my thing with it. So I'm getting to you, D Mac, and that before I give more of my thoughts. So let's hear from you, man.
Yeah, I mean, the defense was great. I'll say this. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, they shouldn't have given up the last run." Literally, the quarterback did not complete a pass after the first quarter. The defense was great. Devontae Adams had 1 catch for 4 yards. The defense was great. Chris Jones wrecked the game. Like Jerry Sneed and Trip McDuffie did what they normally do on the outside. They did better than they did in the first game. So I've got no notes on defense. Defense did its job. They gave up 6 points. And sure, you can give them 7, I guess, because they gave up the 2-point. But even half of that was because the offense decided to give up a touchdown on the first point. So they gave up a touchdown. The defense did its job. The offense had the worst performance of the Mahomes era, simply flat out. It was a systemic failure on all 3 levels, all 4 levels, if you want to even say that. The play calling was terrible. Far too many horizontal aspects. They couldn't design a good run to save their life. Every single screen they ran got blown up outside of one Travis Kelce one. The concepts were poor. Did not take advantage of the middle of the field like they should have versus the Raiders. Mahomes, after the initial offensive line issues that they had, and the offensive line got its butt whooped consistently. And it wasn't just the edge guys. It wasn't just the tackles. I actually thought Trey Smith was fine, but generally speaking, Tooney got whooped. Creed got whooped. and the tackle struggled. Wanya Morris looked like a rookie, really for the first time. And it wasn't Max Crosby doing it to him. They put their secondary edge pass rushes on him and got after him. No physicality as far as the offensive line was concerned, and that broke down the confidence that Mahomes had in what he was seeing going through reads. The throw to Watson, he wasn't nearly patient enough. He should have been, because Ross was going to be open on that corner route. He just tried to get the ball out there to try and get something going. And also back to play calling, idiotic decision in a game that already had 3 fumbles to start, including the punt return and then 2 on your first opening drive, for you to try and do a reverse read option where the running back takes the snap and then hands it while you're backed up. Idiotic play call. No excuse for that.
Why you backed up? Oh my god,
just idiotic. No excuse for that. And so it fundamentally broke down Mahomes to an extent where he was in full survival mode, similar to Super Bowl 55, where he was bailing out a clean pockets, running for his life, trying to get around the edge where it wasn't working, creating pressures where they didn't exist, afraid to force certain throws when he should have into tight windows, missing reads on a consistent basis, pressing to try and make things happen. And that was a simple fact of it. And then, the weapons were what the weapons were. They couldn't get Pacheco going, obviously. They couldn't create anything on any of the swing passes between Pacheco and CH. CH made one guy miss, and that was a useful little play, but that was pretty much it. Wide receivers drop passes. Kelsey drop passes. Nobody was getting consistently open. There were guys open at times, but most of it was out of structure and not necessarily within the reads of the play. And by that time, it didn't necessarily matter because Mahomes was looking downfield. So systemic failure at pretty much every level as far as the offense was concerned. And that's where I'm at with it. The tough thing is that, do you judge a team based off its worst performance? We've seen every single team in the NFL have a bad performance this year. That includes the great ones. That includes the 2 that we saw last night. The question is, do you judge them based off their worst performance or what you've seen consistently throughout the year? Consistently throughout the year, this has been a team that's had mistakes all over the place on offense and had a great defense. Their formula for winning allows them in which they can get lucky and go into the playoffs and possibly go on a run. But you can't count on that. What you saw yesterday was a team that was undoubtedly going home in the first round because they weren't trying as far as offense was concerned at any point. Any wild card team from the AFC beats that team that you saw yesterday because of how awful that offense was. So I'm not saying the season's over with, because it would be wrong of me, I guess, to judge this team based off its worst performance, in my opinion. But that's just where I'm at with it. They cannot perform at that level. It was unacceptable. And they should do a whole lot of soul searching this week to figure out why it happened. And they got to do it fast because it's a short week and Cincinnati's coming in and they're ready to try and take you out with Jake Browning. So there's a lot to turn around as far as that's concerned. I think the only thing I will end with is there's a little bit of an overreaction on the long-term outlook of this team that I think is more doom and gloom than people are saying. It's not as bad as people have said it is as far as a long-term outlook of the team. That's a different conversation than it is right now, where the floor of this team is losing in the wild card round and the ceiling of this team is possibly getting lucky and getting to the championship game. Possibly. And that's a very, very unlikely scenario based on who they got to beat to get there. So, that's where I'm at with it.
One thing from what you just said, D-Mac, you think the floor is us losing in the wild card? You don't think the floor is us not making the playoffs?
No, they'll make the playoffs.
You still think? Okay.
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs. They are going to win this division because nobody else has really got their shit together well enough to challenge them at this current moment in time.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll win this division. But if you play like you did yesterday, you might as well not even show up to the wild card round, because because right now you're pretty much locked into the 3 seed, so you're going to get whoever doesn't win the AFC East pretty much. So you're either going to get a Tyreek Hill trying to take your ass out, or you're going to take Josh Allen trying to take you out. So good luck. If you play like you did yesterday, you're going home first round, undoubtedly, no doubt, no question about it, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Go ahead, Bug. You got the floor.
Well, I'm mad Country not here first because I was looking at some old podcasts, and I really want to ask this: did the Chiefs get dominated yesterday?
Absolutely in the trenches. Absolutely, 1000%.
Cause remember, like 3
I
weeks
can't. I
ago,
can't say they got dominated.
you don't think they got dominated in the
They
trenches?
I'm talking, I'm
dominated
talking
the
about the Raiders
defensive
on
side of the
defense.
ball. They
On the
they
Raiders on the
dominated
defense
the
side of the
defense.
ball, yeah.
The Raiders defense dominated them, but
Yeah,
the
offense
Chiefs
been doing
defense
that.
also the Chiefs defense
Right.
also dominated them. So it's hard for
Right,
I,
right.
I feel like and that's why I want to continue to say the defense played at an extremely high level because this defense deserves all the praise in the world. They keep doing their job every single week. The same way in which we said this offense is amazing in 2018 and the defense is letting them down on a consistent basis. We have to say the same for the defense because otherwise it is a disservice to what they are doing this year. It's a disservice to what L'Jarius Sneed is doing this year. It's a disservice to what Trent McDuffie's doing this year. It's a disservice to what Chris Jones is doing this year. They deserve to get that credit every single week. So no, the team didn't get dominated. The offense got blown off the fucking field.
I feel like we got dominated,
Yeah.
man. Especially in the trenches, like Chuck was saying. I think we got dominated, and that is another reason why I cannot blame as much on Patrick Mahomes as you might, Chuck. Because I was listening earlier. They said 18 of his 44 throws was behind the line of scrimmage from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yes.
So you can't throw it deep. You can't run the ball. And your O-line cannot block. What do we expect Patrick Mahomes to do in that type of game? With this type of receiving core that we've been saying since week 1 is the worst in the league. So it's like we couldn't run the ball. You don't trust your receivers, and they cannot catch. Kevin, I seen you tweet him. He didn't want no smoke, I guess. We don't know where he's at. I hope he's okay. I hope Country is okay. But, yeah, I don't know how you blame this on Mahomes, man. At some point, we got to just say it's the same team that we've been talking about after all these losses. They lost to the Packers. We didn't want to say it. They lost to the Broncos. We didn't want to say it. They lost to the Bills. We didn't want to say it. The Chiefs are not a good team, man. They not. Y'all watch football every weekend just like I do. I know both of y'all two do. I know y'all do. Y'all watch football all weekend. Y'all was watching games. And when y'all watched all them other teams, y'all was like, yeah, Chiefs is as good as, yeah. No.
Well, so here I'll let you finish and then I'll have my pushback.
The O-line, like you said, Chuck, looked horrible. And this is supposed to be what Veach rebuilt and spent all this money on. Jawan Taylor is not a good tackle. He was not a good signing. Can we please stop saying that? Or y'all still go say that he's blocking good and y'all got some good stats for me saying that he's a good blocker?
No, he's not been a good blocker over the last month. It's been a significant downturn.
He's not worth $20 million. We can all agree on that now.
He has not been worth $20 million this year.
So far, no. But I'm not ready to give up on.
Now, the thing that I will say is this: at week 1, I truly do believe destroyed his whole season because when I know I get it. It sounds like an excuse, but the reality of the situation when you play a game for the entirety of your career in professional football and you play a certain way, and then that way gets automatically taken away, you try and adjust on the fly while playing a premium position like tackle. I can understand why there's struggles. I've seen offensive linemen go to things where they try and adjust either through injury or other reasons why they have to adjust through the scheme, things of that nature. And sometimes there's an acclimation period. The kid is still very athletic. I can't imagine that he just completely forgot how to play football. I'm only saying this from the simple fact of they have to give him the shot because of how much they committed money to him. But also, I think that an offseason here to adjust accordingly to what has happened to him over the course of the season from an officiating standpoint, and we will see how it goes. Now, look, the one thing I will say about Jawan Taylor, he had a penalty problem coming into it. I won't take that away from him. He had some issues with holding that existed. Absolutely did. I want to see a full offseason with Andy Heck. Harry comes back in 2024, and then we will be able to fully write the book on whether that signing was a complete bust or not. To this point, not worth the money, simply put. Also, Andrew, yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sound like you was headed down the right street.
Andrew Wiley has been asked in for the Commanders.
But again, I'm gonna ask you: would you right now take Andrew Wiley and D Hop, or would you take Jawan Taylor right now?
If I'm trying to think. I mean, are we talking about the entirety of the season of Jawan Taylor? Because then I'd still favor Jawan Taylor. If we're talking about this last month of Jawan Taylor, then it's not a question. I'd rather have Andrew Wiley and DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm talking about period this year, just period. I just feel like, and
It's
I know you know how
it's not. Yeah, no, I know. He's for the season. He's been a below average tackle. Andrew Wiley's been god awful. That's the type of tackle that gets your quarterback killed. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, and obviously they've won a title with Andrew Wiley, so there's a balance to be had there. I completely understand if somebody else wants to go Wiley and D Hop because of how bad the wide receiver room is. I'm not going to sit here and argue against it. I would just say that I can't definitively say the other way. And again, I'm not giving up on Jawan Taylor personally because I still think all the talent in the world is there.
Do y'all still think this offensive line is the better offensive line than last year, all around?
No, it hasn't been. But it again, you've seen Trey Smith get beat more often. I've seen Creed get beat more often.
And that's what I'm saying. Also, D-Mac, I'm with you on that.
It's the same thing that on a smaller scale that's happened with the wide receiver room. These guys have gotten worse. And there's only one way to point to that when you have systemic people regressing. It's the coaching staff. And that means there's some questions that need to be asked about the entirety of the coaching staff that we can get to later. So in my personal opinion, no, it hasn't been as good. Simply put, because the same guys that were here regress. And, so that's the difficult part of it. But, you put D-Hop into this offense. I don't think that he fixes what happened yesterday. D-Hop ain't blocking nobody.
Yeah, but D-Hop can get open one-on-one. I seen somebody else say that in the comments. We don't have anybody that can do that.
That is true. That is true. But even if D-Hop gets open one-on-one and your quarterback is under pressure for half of the snaps, it don't make a difference.
I mean, when you just throwing jump balls to the receivers, Watson and stuff like that, when that could be D-Hop, I'm trusting D-Hop over there.
Well, yeah, of course, but they don't throw jump balls to Watson. They throw back shoulder fades and hope for the best. Or not back shoulder fades, but back shoulder digs.
Would you rather do that with Hopkins or would you rather do that with Watson and MVS? We don't even really
of course you'd rather have it do it with Hopkins. I don't disagree with that point at all. I'm just saying yesterday was not simply the wide receiver failures that we've seen for the entirety of the season. That was the offensive line being awful. That was the play calling being awful. That was Mahomes being shell shocked. That was not just simply the wide receiver issues that we've talked about before. That was my only point. I wanted D-Hop here. I understood that there were financial constraints because of other things that were happening around the Chiefs. And like obviously now, right. I was going to say, obviously now Jawan Taylor being the guy that is making $20 million on the offensive line, that is not having a good year, is going to be the chief among them that's pointed to. That is part of it, Brent. They get to different levels as far as Trey and Jawan are concerned, and that opens up that B gap, unfortunately, too often.
Pass that dope to me, man. At this point, man, I won't even complain. Whatever receiver we get in free agency, I promise you, I will not complain. I promise you. But I tell you what, I cannot wait till number 11's off my team. He's got to go, man.
Yeah, it's seeing him get 80% of the snaps.
Oh my God,
that was something.
And then on that pick, his effort.
Just you can't.
Go ahead, Chuck. It's nasty, man.
I inexcusable, terrible decision.
All right, so here's my thing. I see the comments. I see Paul saying Justin Watson quit on his route when Patrick Mahomes threw the interception, right? My thing is this. Jack Jones was reading that all the way from the beginning. And when Mahomes threw it, that ball had no zip on it anyway. So that was just bad altogether, man. Like you can't just keep blaming receivers all the time. Was it a poor route by Justin Watson? Yes. But that pass was not there and it was no zip on the ball. So everyone was at fault for that play. And that's my thing. When people be spreading the blame around, like, yes, Mahomes has been carrying this offense the best he could, but at the same time, he's not perfect himself, dog. Like, hell, I watched Rasheed Rice. No, not Rasheed Rice, but on the same play, I watched Justin Ross get open. Like, I feel like he could have been a better option on that play if you went to the right spot.
See, Mahomes on that rollout there, and he feels the timing of that route should come out. So I don't know what exactly the depth is that they teach that route is, because that depth could be at the 5 yard mark. so you can open up that corner or force the cornerback into a little bit more of a difficult state of if he decides to try and break on it or not. So I don't know the full timing of the route, and that's why it's important necessarily to give that disclaimer of we don't know fully what the play call and how it's taught and things of that nature. Ultimately, though, Mahomes being more patient on that design allows you to have the time for Ross to get open and at least gives you the option of going to one of the two. We've seen multiple times in which Mahomes on those rollouts will hold it for a little bit of an extra beat just to see how that corner ends up declaring. A lot of times on those cover twos, that corner just keeps sinking because he has to on a certain extent, and then eventually that dig comes open underneath. So on that play, after the fumble on the play call that was completely inexcusable and never should have been called and was malpractice as far as Andy Reid is concerned, Mahomes is pressing to get the ball out to try and get some positive momentum moving forward, and he ends up throwing a pick six. And again, this is my only point in the conversations that we've had, Chuck, is that positioning Mahomes as the chief issue in this team it's not true. It's not accurate because everything is snowballing based on what we've seen the entirety of the season. Mahomes, like you said, has not been perfect. He's been far from it. He hasn't even been himself for the entirety of the season. He's playing below his normal standards, to say the least. But even so, he has been dragging this offense for the last 15 weeks to competency to a certain extent. And then on top of that, you saw yesterday everything that went wrong, from the play calling, from the offensive line getting whooped, to the wide receivers that had been there all year, finally got to him and he broke.
You would like to see more when we had a rough time running the ball. I would have loved for them to run some more play action in the center because what the Raiders did a lot, they was run blitzing a lot, and it was effective. Like we couldn't get no push up front whatsoever. I felt like they could have gave us a chance to free up something there if we had just simply spam play action a little bit more under center. That's what I feel like, in my opinion. But to me, man, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, it could have helped. The Raiders, like you said, did come out with the game plan that we saw in the second half of the Eagles game, where they just started run blitzing, and they did that from the jump and basically dared the Chiefs to beat them deep, and they couldn't. Yeah. So, and it won't be the last time that they see that defensive game plan. So they better find some answers to it.
Yeah, but to me, man, my thing is this: I've seen in a few games this year where it wasn't the receiver's fault on the play. That's all I'm saying. Like I remember Rasheed Rice ran a pivot route against the Bills, like, and that should have been a hot read, and that was on that interception Mahomes threw when he threw that little swing pass to Clyde. Mm-hmm. That was a misread on that one. You know what I'm saying? And then there's been other instances where Mahomes has locked on Kelsey and somebody else was open underneath, and you could have trusted your guy one-on-one to get the first down. That's some of the things I've seen this year.
And Chuck, that's me personally. Why would he trust any of these receivers, though, man? Like, why?
Hey, listen, man.
It's the same thing we had when he threw the wheel route to Sky and the cornerback played it perfectly. Yes, obviously it seemed like the adjustment should have been a back shoulder throw. Why would he trust Sky Moore to make the adjustment to a back shoulder throw when Sky Moore hasn't made a proper wide receiver adjustment the entirety of the season? It's a chicken and egg thing. I don't know which is, more at fault at that point, but it's a legitimate question. Why should you trust anybody in this wide receiver room right now outside of Rasheed Rice? And even then it's a little bit spotty because he's a rookie still trying to learn.
That is sad, bro. And shout out to Clyde, man.
Clyde tried his best. Clyde tried his
best. Look, the running backs doing their job, man. It's just that the Raiders, their defense, they came up with a great defensive game plan yesterday. I mean, I give my hats off to them. They did their thing. The Chiefs' offense couldn't get in rhythm whatsoever throughout the course of the game. So
Sapphire said that. Sorry, go ahead, Boogie. You can go ahead.
If Antonio Pierce is not the Raiders coach next year, they need to sell that team, man.
Somebody tweeted out that they're far better at finding interim coaches than they are actually coaches that they hire, and it's completely accurate because Joe Sachi or whatever his name is was far better than it did. Yep. Yeah, this supposed to be great. And sometimes, of course, some of this is obviously, some of these guys just get in and have the dead coach bounce and they end up, motivating. Some of them also are just very good leaders of men, and you should probably invest in that at the head coach position because at the end of the day, these guys aren't like Josh McDaniels is an amazing scheme guy. He just isn't. You got to lead men at that position, and that's what guys like Antonio Pearson and the special teams coach can bring to the table.
Steezy, they better though. They better. He throwing to Amari Cooper.
Amari
We
Cooper
throwing the fucking MVS, man.
Elijah Moore is pretty damn good too. And
Yeah, he's cool.
Amari Cooper could be on the trading block, by the way, but we'll have that conversation probably maybe later on in the pod about things to fix. So the thing about Kurt Warner said the routes are weird. The thing about Andy Reid's scheme, and this is a larger conversation about the ways in which this offense is based from a foundational place on up. His scheme is based on these wide receivers being in certain areas and certain times. It's timing and specific detail-based offense. That is what it is. It's always been that way, especially from the wide receiver passing game perspective, and it's based on a lot of adjustments. That is not necessarily the best place you want to put a team in. And the difference is a place where, a Matt LaFleur, for example, what he's doing up there in Green Bay. Incredibly young roster. You saw the struggles early on, but those young weapons allowed their talent, and they are legitimately more talented than this wide receiver room, to eventually shine through because they got it. That system is not necessarily based off of timing and all those route adjustments, et cetera, et cetera. It's more so about these guys having talent and being able to succeed in the system. So again, that's the difference in having young guys trying to come in and learn your system. And specifically, Andy Reid is about timing. And so you want to, and this is the cat and mouse game, because this was supposed to be a development year for a lot of young guys, second year in the system for a lot of these guys. And the rookie outpaced all of them because the rookie just had the most talent. That tells you just got to have a baseline of talent no matter what system you're running. But also you got to have these guys continue to learn and grow. So it's a difficult conundrum to try and break it up. But that's why the routes look weird, because these guys don't know what they're doing. They don't. You got guys arguing out there and just how to line up. MVS and people. I had this wrong because I tweeted out that offensive offsides all of a sudden existed. It was because the referee got the call wrong. It was actually just illegal formation. MVS doesn't know where to line up, and he got the legal formation off of that, and he's a vet. That's inexcusable.
I was just going to say, that's your vet, though, right?
Exactly. That's the veteran that's supposed to be leading your room. Inexcusable. They said Nate Taylor asked Rashee Rice. So when you have a question about things going on in the system, who do you go to? He's like, I go to Kelsey on everything. I just ask Kelsey what's going on. Not I go to Connor Embry. I go to, MVS. I go to Kelsey because he's the only one that knows.
You want to know what's funny about this? Yes, the receivers they haven't got a feel where to be on the field for the most part, right? And Rashee Rice, he's been our best guy, but he's not a perfect product himself. But you want to know what's funny though? On that, remember when Mahomes was telling Rashee, I guess I'm seeing like he's telling him to stop earlier or keep going. I don't know what the deal was, but even then, Mahomes threw the ball more towards the defender anyway, bro. Like that's some of that stuff is on him, dog. Like it can't just be receivers all the time.
Rice literally ran to the defender on zone defense, though, bro. He's supposed to just stop. Even Romo said,
but he did stop though.
He ran towards the defender though. He didn't stop in the zone.
But to be on the replay, though, it felt like he had stopped a long time ago before that ball was gone, fam. That's to me, bro. Like, Mahomes was already in motion. Like, remember, Rice has already stopped on the route, fam. So,
even Romo said, I'm trusting Romo, a quarterback, about that, to say he's supposed to get in that zone. I mean, you said Rice is good. He definitely is the best receiver we have, but his route running, he definitely needs some improvement.
But this is the point I want to make to everybody though. You see how much more difficult it is to play quarterback when you ain't got the weapons that you normally accustomed to. This is the exact point that I was trying to make with the current MVP favorite right now, Lamar Jackson. I remember like we had Bernard Pollard on the episode a while back, and y'all was saying he was cooking me, right? And I feel like my point's vindicated now that Lamar Jackson has weapons. Lamar looks better in the pocket. The Ravens offense is rolling. The stats may not say it all, but when you watch the Ravens play, they get inside the 20, they give the ball to their running backs, they trust the running backs to punch it in the end zone. But other than that, Lamar's played great. Is he perfect? No, but you see how much easier it is to play quarterback when you actually have the weapons around you. That was my point the entire time.
Well, and Chuck, and I'm gonna say the same thing I said then. Lamar, there's nothing Lamar can do in a regular season that's gonna make me move him up or down. He has to win in the playoffs. He got to do that same stuff in the playoffs.
That's cool.
I don't want to hear you.
That's fine.
If the Ravens don't win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, I do not want to see Chuck hopping on here saying, "Oh, well, Mark Andrews was hurt. They didn't." I don't want to hear none
I'm
of that.
not using excuse injuries as excuse.
I,
I've been
I
said
don't
he had
want.
enough.
I don't want
I've
you
been
blaming
said he
the
had enough.
offensive coordinator again.
But wait a minute. Yeah, it's a different offense coordinator now. The offense looks a lot better now. You
The
know what I'm saying?
Ravens have the best team in the AFC right now on offense and
Yeah,
defense. We all agree, right?
offense. I mean,
D-Mac, we
I'm
can't
going
hear
to
you.
say, yeah.
Can't hear you, D-Mac.
My bad. I tried out my new mic and I put the mute button on. My bad. You good? No, I was going to say, yes, they should be favorites undoubtedly, and Todd Monken has really brought the expansiveness to that, to the offense, and allowed Lamar's arm talent, because people act like Lamar can't throw the ball for God knows what reason, to actually shine in a lot of these situations, and he's being able to push the ball effectively to all parts of the field and opens up the entirety of their run game as well, even in which some of their offensive line have had some struggles. And, obviously they've gone through running back injuries and the big injury to Mark Andrews. The thing about it is I get it. Somebody said his stats are average. I don't know what it is, because advanced metrics usually get a good job at capturing the rushing value, things of that nature. If you sit down and watch a Lamar Jackson game, and I say a Lamar Jackson game, whether he's in Baltimore, whether he's in Louisville, whether he's in Florida in high school, that is the best player on the field. Simply put, you watched that game last night, that's the best player on the field. No doubt about it, undoubtedly. And that's with all the star power in San Francisco. That is the best player on the field. That's the reality of the situation. He brings just a simple, different dynamic to the offense that he operates in, even with the constraints that the former offensive coordinator put on him. It's just different what Lamar is able to do. And Boogie, I think your question about the playoff success is certainly valid. I don't know where you have quarterbacks ranked based on that accordingly, and that's fine. But when you just watch this man play, it's obvious what he does for an offense and the ways in which he puts a defense into a bind. And that's why, for me, Lamar is the exception to the, advanced stats, quote unquote, rules that I usually like to go by. And they usually show you that, the difference making quarterbacks are the difference making quarterbacks. But, Lamar Jackson kind of breaks those rules sometimes, but he's just that special of a player. And he's always been that kind of special of a player.
And you know what? I agree with what you said, Brent. And now back to your top 5 defense and offensive line comment in regards to the Ravens. Don't we currently have a top 5 defense?
Yes.
Anybody? Is our offensive line just outside the top 5?
Shit,
Or is
just
it in the
outside.
middle of the pack?
I don't know about just outside.
Outside of last week, it was top 5. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I'm really not trying to hear all that now with the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Because the Ravens had a good defense before.
The Ravens are a better team than the Chiefs, though. Offense.
Oh, absolutely.
You take the quarterbacks off, it's not even close.
Absolutely. I'm just saying.
No doubt about it.
Okay,
not even close. Okay. But actually, it's close. I can't do it. I don't think that there's some dominant team, because literally I sat here last week and was like, yeah, the 49ers are just far and away better. And I thought they were going to go out there and beat the Ravens.
Yeah. But my point is this.
It's tough for me to say that there's a dominant team right now. So I can't say it's far and away better. But legitimately, I think the 49ers and the Ravens are great teams right now. And the Chiefs are simply just a good team. And there is a
we a good team.
Yes, we are a good team. But yeah, no.
Well, my point is this. I said this in the past about Lamar Jackson when he didn't have wide receivers. Y'all weren't trying to hear all that, bro. Y'all just claimed that he couldn't throw the ball. Y'all claimed that he was a running back and all this other stuff. Now we're seeing Mahomes. Mahomes only got a tight end like Lamar Jackson did in the past. Lamar only had Mark Andrews. Right now, we only have Travis Kelce to depend on. And you're seeing what's happening with this current offense. It's much more difficult to play quarterback. We only have one guy to trust.
Yeah, but you're trying to make it seem like this makes Lamar no, bro. That ain't the same, bro. Lamar's had a
it kind of is. It kind of is.
No, because Lamar had
in that offensive coordinator too.
There are a few steps you're skipping there.
No, really. I mean, Greg Roman after this first year, every year Greg Roman has gone to, after the first year, his offense has regressed. It happens every time.
That is
y'all weren't trying to hear that.
you're skipping steps in the standpoint of this. I agree with you. Like people trying to discredit what Lamar Jackson can do from a throwing perspective and not acknowledging the lack of wide receiver talent, the constraints on that Roman offense, things of that nature. I completely agree with you on that. But you're skipping steps in the comparison of to Mahomes because Mahomes was leading historical offenses and flat out historical offenses the last 5 years. That's reality of the situation. They were all historical. You can go through any metric that you want to. The reality is
Oh yeah.
this step down, it has not been. Lamar's offense this year, well, good, very good. It's not even close to historical. So there's a little bit of
Oh
difference
no,
between those things.
not at all.
So there's a difference in the ceiling of which still where you're talking, but I agree with you from the standpoint of excellent quarterbacks can elevate people to a certain extent. And Lamar Jackson, for a long time, elevated that team and made it a competent offensive team, the same way that Mahomes has this year, even while he, maybe his level wasn't necessarily to his MVP level every single year.
All right. Yeah, gotcha. I mean, all fair points aside, but back to us though in general. At the end of the day, man, like, do y'all see this offense get turning it around just in time, or is this it? Or is this it, dog? Like,
No,
are we,
this is well, okay. Yesterday, that was not the offense. That I don't know what the fuck that was. That was not the offense. The entire season, this is the offense. There's no doubt about it. We are 15 weeks in. This is a team that is going to continuously make mistakes. This wide receivers core is going to struggle to catch the ball and be in the right places on time. The tackles are going to have some occasional issues. Now, I will say again, that offense can still win because the defense is great. And if they have the right play calling and Mahomes plays great, all of those things are incredibly high variance. We don't know if it'll happen. I don't think it necessarily will at this current moment in time, but that's the truth of the matter. Yesterday's offense is not this offense for the full season, but the offense for the full season has its continued struggles, and that's just who they are. Somebody tweeted, I think it might have been Jordan Foote. Shout out to Jordan Foote, who came out to tell the truth. We have to stop talking about the ceiling of this offense. It doesn't exist. The ceiling of this offense doesn't exist. It's at best a competent offense, at best, and that's with Mahomes dragging it and the team getting lucky.
Yeah,
and that's only in compliment to a great defense.
Man, I think it's highly unlikely that we play 3 good games on offense, and we gonna have to play 3 good games. You can say that about the defense. If we had to play Buffalo, first of all, if we play Buffalo in the wild card game,
oh my goodness,
just worry about next year.
I mean, Miami ain't gonna be much funner or more fun. Miami playing very good on both. Look,
I'm still not worried about them.
I understand it. I think I would rather see Miami at this point, but neither of those are gonna be fun matchups.
But Buffalo or Indianapolis, yeah, those are pretty tough.
I mean,
those are pretty tough. I ain't hold you.
You're not playing India.
Exercise, fellas. What playoff teams right now can the Chiefs beat, in your opinion? Jacksonville and who else?
Wait,
Jacksonville, Miami.
Wait. But Boogie, can they beat? Are you saying can they beat? Or are you picking the beat? Because those are two different things.
You are a gambling man. I'm giving you $1,000.
Okay.
Would you bet on the Chiefs against what other team?
I would bet on them against Houston. I would bet on them against the Colts. I would bet on them against the Jaguars. I would still bet on them against the Browns. So that's very difficult at this current moment in time. And that would be the 4.
Okay.
So the AFC South and the Browns. That'd be the 4.
Yes, Paul.
Also, somebody asked the question. So Brent asked the question: is defense better than these 5?
No.
I think that they're better than the Cowboys, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, they're better than the Cowboys.
The Cowboys have significant issues on the spine, in my personal opinion. And also, the Browns still have issues on the road that they have not solved. I don't know what it is. They just don't play as well on the road. They've given up over 30 points per game on the road. Our defense doesn't have that issue. They can travel it and still play at a high level. The Jets, also, the people were overreacted to the Jets like getting blown out. That wasn't about the Jets defense. The Jets offense just put them in terrible positions. And then they asked specifically about the Ravens and what's the difference between the two defenses. It's the turnovers. The Ravens, the way that they cause chaos, and then the ball hawking ability specifically of their safeties, led by the star and Kyle Hamilton, and he is a star. bona fide. He allowed them to play in nickel all day, which is exactly how you try and get after the 49ers offense. And McDonald played or had a great game design to go after Kyle Shannon's offense. That is the difference in what the very good defensive Chiefs are and what the great defense is and the Ravens in being able to take the ball away. There's a special ability for players, special players specifically, to be around the ball at the right times. And even for all the chaos that Spags can create with all of his scheme, how well this team can design coverages, the way that it mixes up coverages, they still need that talent to be able to take the ball away. And that's not something that exists right now, specifically in the safety room within this defense. So that'd be the difference. But that's my point. The AFC South and the Browns that I think that I would pick the Chiefs to beat. But outside of that,
so
I'm good.
Yeah. AFC South for the most part, the Colts, man, I would not want to play them just because the history we have with them. It's always a tough game for some reason. We find a way to loosen them for the most part. I wouldn't want that. Miami, I'm confident in. Jacksonville, I'm confident in. Cleveland, I'm confident in because look,
confident.
Yeah. But that's about it for right now.
Damn.
Buffalo, I don't know.
You don't
Buffalo
know?
seem like they want Buffalo. They seem like they trying to knock on the door. They trying to kick through that door every time we play them.
For me, it'd be a coin toss versus Buffalo and Miami. The Ravens, I'd outright pick Baltimore right now.
Yeah.
So Ravens is the only team right now. Y'all like, yeah. That's a
outright pick. I do not think that they're beating them right now. Yes.
Yeah, 100% Ravens. Yeah.
That's the only team.
That's the only 100% team.
Because look, the Jaguars haven't had a functioning offense since Christian Kirk went down. That's just the truth. That offense has been defunct for essentially 2 months or a month, I should say. And the defense struggled a lot over the last month.
They only had 2 great games on offense the entire year. Really, like Trevor Lawrence, he's kind of regressed.
Trevor Lawrence ain't had a good year.
The Texans still have significant issues over the middle of the field of their defense. And they're still weak, specifically, at the defensive tackle position. I think you can get after the Texans. CJ Stroud's great. We haven't seen him back from the concussion. Tank Dell being out, we'll see. I still think that they could beat the Texans. Who are the other ones? Colts. Shane Steichen's done an amazing job. Their defense is fine, solid even. I would not necessarily be afraid of them outside of what the offensive issues that we already have are existing. I think they could beat the Colts and Gardner Minshew. So outside of that, Miami, I think that our defense is just a really good matchup for Miami, and that's a nice thing. But that's why it's a coin flip because I don't know if our offense is going to score. So
you hold on. Chris just said I act like, bro, we just lost to the Broncos and the Raiders.
Well, so here's the other funny
good teams we losing to. So yes. I don't understand why y'all think playing against Buffalo, we're going to just turn into some great team. We can't score 21 points. What's the last time we can't score 21?
They haven't done it well. The one thing I will say specifically about the Raiders and Broncos losses is just, we are seeing that the Chiefs are mortal right now. We are like every other good team. We are susceptible to weird divisional losses that happen to every other good team every single year. We just are. Whereas they showed the stat, Mahomes had never lost to a divisional opponent after November. Never. And that was his first loss yesterday. We're just a mortal team. Doesn't mean we're bad. But
no, we are bad. We are a bad team.
What you were yesterday was awful. I agree with you on that. But that's not what they have been the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact, Chris. Like, that first quarter, yeah, but the rest of the time, we was in the game after that against Buffalo.
We've been in every game this year.
I was about to say, the defense is going to keep you in every game. That's a fact. That's why the team is not bad. The defense is going to keep you in every single game. You're going to have opportunities to win it. It's just if the offense gets fortunate enough on enough drives to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, and to Big Griff's point, shout out to DG's dad. That's why we still have a chance, technically, in the AFC once we do get a playoff spot, just because, like you guys mentioned, defense keeping us in games, bro. The Dolphins just got to get right, man. And like we've all agreed, man, this is probably who they are, man.
Yeah, right.
We just got to hope that we don't turn the ball over at the wrong time.
What is the Chiefs getting right on offense to y'all? Because I mean, what's getting right? Like, what's realistic getting right too, fellas? Don't say no turnovers. Don't say the
Uh,
receivers catching the ball. We know that's not gonna happen. So what is
Um,
realistically something they gonna do?
running the ball effectively for one. I mean that will help. That will help out tremendously if we run the ball effectively. And like, look, we all agree that the Ravens they're the best team in the AFC right now, but I do see a chink in their armor on defense because where the Niners messed up at last night, they didn't ride Chris McCaffrey enough like they should. Because when they ran the ball up the middle, that's where the big runs were coming at. When it was running up the middle, Baltimore can be had right there, and we got a strong interior. If we could just use that against Baltimore, we got a chance.
well,
We just run the ball effectively.
wait, here's the problem. So they had, I think it was like a 62% run success rate, and so they ran the ball well. Their efficiency stats throughout the entirety of the game were pretty much in line with where they've had been for the entirety of their season on average. The issue is the Ravens create so much chaos is that they have those negative plays that end up getting you off the field or taking the ball away that it didn't matter. The 49ers had gotten themselves in a hole because of what the Ravens offense was doing. And by that point, the script had flipped and there was nothing else that they could do from that standpoint. So that's the dilemma that the Ravens defense can put you in. There are ways to get after the Ravens, and obviously Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco offense is too talented not to get after certain defenses, but they are going to create enough negative plays. And if you play a team that already can't beat it or is going to beat itself on a consistent basis, you can imagine how many negative plays that you're going to create based off what the Ravens already do on top of it. So that's the issue with the matchup with the Ravens. In general, as far as what this offense can do, when the offensive line doesn't act like it did yesterday, they can run the ball. They have power run game concepts. They have gap scheme concepts that work on a consistent basis. They can get into those things. This team can throw the ball over the middle still to Rice and Kelsey. I don't know what the fuck was happening, why Kelsey was chip blocking on basically every significant down. I don't know. I don't know why that was the game plan. That needs to change. Different conversation. Outside of that, not a lot else that you can hang your hat on. I'll certainly say that. That's pretty much all you can really hang your hat on. And some 12 personnel stuff that they need to get to a little bit more. But outside of that, no. Because even the check downs, CEH can make a guy miss, but he doesn't have the speed to really change it. And Pacheco probably doesn't make guys miss. And so it's usually if he gets cut down, maybe he can break a tackle or two and then get something. It's not really doing much for you. So power run game, those concepts, throwing the ball over the middle, those are the things that you can hang your hat on. But because of how self-destructive the offense is right now, you're capped at maybe 24, 27 points on a good day.
The Chiefs?
On a good day, yeah.
Good day forms, man. What you talking about? Good day. The Chiefs scoring 27 points?
They did it to the Patriots. Patriots are good defense.
Yeah, my Patriots was a good defense. But my thing is this: like, I saw somebody comment say that the Niners were playing from behind. Like, I remember the score being like, what was it 13-12 Baltimore? Like, despite them turning the ball early on, they were still in the game.
Yeah, the game. Yeah, the game was generally close up until a point where they just kind of had a bad sequence. So I wouldn't say that it was like a game script necessarily thing, but it was something to where by the time that they were just in straight drop back, then they were dead in the water as far as the Niners are concerned. Because if you get the Niners into straight drop back, that's not somewhere they're going to be comfortable in doing. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, the Ravens just played very well, and they were able to create the chaos that they needed to create those negative plays. Now, those are high variance things: tip balls, guys getting in their arm on Brock Purdy and causing those interceptions. So, outside of the Kyle Hamilton one in the red zone, though, because that was just simply Brock Purdy's mistake, some of that is high variance to the point where if the Niners and Ravens play again, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Ravens are, a significantly better team. It just means that the variants went in the Ravens' way, last night, and we'll see how it could go if they were to rematch in Super Bowl.
But it did show that, like, when Brock Purdy goes up against a top defense, or let's just say the AFC North, like, he's 1-3 against the AFC North. Like, it's shown that against those opponents, besides the Steelers, when Brock Purdy has to face a physical defense, defenses that can create chaos, give you different looks, he kind of struggles. He kind of struggled.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, or the thing about the Browns didn't necessarily give them different looks because the Browns don't do different looks. They go in and run their nickel defense cover 3, and that's why they had success against the Niners offense, because that is exactly how you attack the Niners offense. And so what they ran just happened to match up very well. And so they didn't have to run anything differently. The Ravens specifically have to run a bunch of different coverages, and they do it at an extremely high level, and that causes that chaos that worked for them. The Bengals kind of lived in that 3 safety world. Their safeties aren't necessarily good, but it worked for him. And Lou was a very good game planner in that, they were able to get the job done. So Purdy's a solid quarterback. He's in that 11 to 15 range as far as the NFL is concerned.
that's not bad. That's not bad for a good team.
And that's not bad at all. When you have all of the surroundings that they do, that's the making of a team that can get you to the Super Bowl. Whether that's a team that can put you over the top, it's a different question.
Yep. So, I mean, all in all, man, like, at the end of the day, we still have nothing solidified. Like, we don't have the AFC West clinch. We don't have a playoff spot clinch. And right now, we about to play a Cincinnati team that's desperate to get in the playoffs. And then, hell, like, if we somehow mess around and lose that game, shoot, we're going to play a Chargers team that's, yes, the Brandon Staley's not there anymore. Yes, they out of the playoff hunt and all that. But I'm sure they'll be motivated to try to end our season. So, we better get together.
Hey, do y'all think
yes, Cam was right.
Do y'all think next week when we had this podcast, people are gonna say maybe we should go ahead and lose that next game too, so we can get a good draft position?
There's gonna be some of those takes. I'm just gonna ignore those.
Yeah, people are gonna say it, but it's not gonna change anything. If they lose this week, they're going to run their guys out there and try and win week 18. I mean, some people have also talked about, do you rest your starters in week 18? I'm not. Normally, I would say no. Keep playing through. You have to stay in rhythm, etc., etc. It would not be the worst thing if this team just had a break. I think.
I agree.
They just look tired. They look tired, and part of this is every single game that they've played, and it will continue into this week as well. The other team has had a rest advantage as far as that's concerned, so that's part of it. Of course, they look tired. They just do. And you've got a team that's gone to 5 straight AFC Championship games, that's won 2 Super Bowls. The fatigue has set in, and you could see it.
And at this point, it's only one bye week, so once we lock in the playoff spot, it's really what you gonna if you're try to avoid Buffalo or what you. I mean, it really don't matter. You got to be able to play your best football in the playoffs. It don't matter who we play. So
if you win next week, you're locked in the 3 seed, and you're getting either Miami or the Dolphins, regardless of what you do. I completely understand if you sit. Sure.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, like I agree. I mean, agree y'all to extent about, if we do beat the Bengals next week, clinch the AFC West, you want to rest your guys because we have played a lot of games with the main core. The main core, they've played a lot of games in the regular season and playoffs. We about reached that point where, these guys need a mental break, you know what I'm saying, just to refresh and get their minds right. However, I mean, at the same time, like, are we really in position to do that?
What we got to lose, though? Once we lock up, we all assuming we win this playoff game. Not playoff game, this Cincinnati game. What are we playing for in the last week? We're not getting the first seed. We got to play.
I understand the defense. The defense, I think the defense definitely deserves more rest than anybody on this team, personally.
Yeah, they do deserve a rest. They absolutely do deserve the rest.
I think Kelsey would like that rest too. So
yeah, he got some rest too. I mean, he does look mentally smart out there, and then this is the most I've seen Travis Kelsey ever frustrated. I mean, obviously because of what's going on with the offense currently, but I've seen this dude slam more helmets than at any point in the season. I've seen him get frustrated more than any point in the season. This even goes back to the young Travis Kelsey.
Yeah,
the young immature Travis Kelsey. So
you see that bump?
No. Immature Travis Kelsey was because he was just immature. This is old and cranky. This is old and cranky Travis Kelsey. He is tired. Absolutely. He is sick. He's tired of having to chip or getting hit by 3 players on every single route. He's just tired of that. Also, Paul, technically, yes, if Miami loses next week and then loses to Buffalo, we could be the 2 seed, but that only happens if Buffalo loses to the Patriots as well.
But what does the 2
So,
seed?
so you tell me if the Buffalo Bills are losing to the Patriots, Paul.
Hey, I lost big on a parlay because they losing to them earlier this year, bro. So don't say it can't happen.
Oh, let me tell you. So I had 2 slips. Fortunately, my other slip for Christmas did win, and I got like a nice little 150. Replenish the cupboards. I missed my underdog slip by 1 Christian McCaffrey touchdown. It would have been for 1,050. I think I was upset. I was like, I had Jalen Hurts interception. I had Brock Purdy interception. I think I had Lamar Jackson yards, and I had one other thing in CMC's 2 touchdowns. I was like, damn, just missed it.
Oh, you had him for 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, I had him for 2.
See, yeah, you try to get the mods. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. At the end of the day, man. So it's on to Cincinnati, and we'll see what this offense does in the next 2 weeks, man. But I'm pretty much in agreement with everybody here. This is who they are. You know what I'm saying? They just got to show us, man. And at this point, like I've been saying it for like a few weeks now. I said it before a few weeks now. Like this don't look like a Super Bowl team. Like the defense looks Super Bowl caliber, but just the team overall, yeah, I'm not seeing it. They got to show me.
I need you to do like Kelsey do after every New Heights podcast and say, "We're gonna figure this out, man. We're gonna figure it out. Just be patient, fans. It's gonna happen."
This has been going on for weeks, bro. Like I'm pretty sick of it, man. I know it's the political answer, the thing to keep saying over and over. I'm just sick of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same words, the same stuff every week, man. Like I'm just sick of it. I just gotta see it, man.
I'm just gonna run through this for Paul just so he sees. We're going to give you the Dolphins losing, and we're gonna give you the Bills winning against the Patriots, and we're gonna and we'll have us winning these last 2 games. God forbid if that actually happens. And we'll have the Buffalo Bills. See, they just go to the 2nd seed because they still have the tiebreaker over us. It'll be 11-6. Now you need the Patriots. If they beat them, then we could be the 2 seed. But again, you tell me the likeliness of that happening.
Ooh, wait.
Right. We already lost the opportunity at the 1 seed officially, so yeah.
Draft season, baby.
Draft talk already. We back to draft talk.
Draft talk, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta fire up them
list, man. I need that until I get that receiver list. We're gonna keep dropping passes. This shit is all D-Mac fault. So until you send me that list, them receivers gonna keep playing like that. You better make something happen, D-Mac. Come on.
I'm gonna pass the receiver list along to Boogie, and Boogie gonna post it in the locker room, and they gonna start catching passes again. And be like, "Damn, they trying to replace us."
We're gonna make it happen, man. I need that list.
We gonna get it together, man.
All right, so I just got a question. Like after the performance we saw yesterday, like is Patrick Mahomes gonna try to take those golf carts back now?
Shit, he need to. He need to.
He gonna repo those golf carts.
Boy, that offensive line let him down.
Fraud alert.
Jeez, that was awful.
Them boys got
order all that shit.
Look, them boys got fat and happy, dog. They look like they drank some spiked eggnog that morning, man.
They look like they want to be with their family, man. Maybe they should have just make all the Christmas games start at 3 or something. I don't know. That wasn't it, bro.
We had kids watching, dog, and we did that. Golly.
We got kids getting pick 6 balls taken away, man. It was unfortunate.
Oh my goodness! Hey I'm gonna Dragonfly Jones on that. I'm gonna Dragonfly Jones on that. That's gonna build some character into that kid. Become a real Raider hater, dog. I'm with them on that. That's gonna build some character.
You know, the Jack. He said that he was really trying to.
Yeah, he was really trying. Right, yeah, the adult actually reached over him and took it. That's why he took it back. So
I had to look at it again because I was like, damn, I know he didn't do the kid like that, bro. That was funny though.
Yeah, at least we get some laughs out of yesterday's loss. But yeah, I was watching the game with family, and I had eternal rage. I had to keep my cool on the outside, but I was holding rage internally the entire time. So But it is what it is. We move forward. So
Don't worry. New Year's Eve, you get to do it in front of your family all over again, Chuck.
yeah.
We can't lose to the Bengals, man. I don't care if Burrow not playing. Please, man.
You know Jamar Chase gonna play. You know he gonna get back out there.
Please.
If he
That's how
runs
it
out
always
there with
goes.
it, his arm needs to be in a sling. So if he runs out there, man, I'm just dying laughing.
Yeah. So let's go and get to our sponsor and get up out of here, man. All right, today, Homage got a special today. Free shipping on orders of $99 or more. You order stuff, $99 or more, you get free shipping. The next thing, we got NBA logos. They had Christmas slate yesterday themselves. I broke even with LeBron losing yesterday, so I mean that's cool. But my guys Steph and KD, they took L's too, so it is what it is. I think they still got virtual gift cards available, despite it not being Christmas anymore. You just want to get a late gift for somebody, you can do that. You still got the NFL Team Essentials collection, and you still got your standard go-to collection as well. So go and copy some gear and pay homage.
Hey, homage.
All right, so that being said, anything else y'all want to get into before we get up out of here?
We really lost to 62 yards worth of Aiden O'Connell with no Josh Jacobs.
That's
playing.
nasty, bro.
He didn't record a stat. He didn't record a stat after the first quarter.
After the
No
first
stats.
fucking quarter, man.
Devontae only had 4
thing.
yards.
Was
That's
this
a
worse
damn
than the
shame.
Tebow loss? Was this worse than the Tebow loss?
Worse than the what loss?
The
The
Tebow
Tebow
loss.
loss? Oh God.
Oh man, it's up there. It's definitely up there. Like we talked about the Tennessee loss a few years ago when we had to go to Tennessee. We got our ass beat.
That was just we just got our ass whooped.
Yeah.
It was
we got our
how we
ass
lost this one.
Yeah, I mean it's just
man.
you just give the game away. I mean, just because you got your ass whooped, on offense and and you gave the game away. I mean, it's just disgusting.
Hey, I need y'all in the comments though, man. I said it at the start of the show. I need y'all to hashtag where is country and tag Kingdom Cast. Please, we really do not know where this dude is at. We do not know where he is. We hope country is okay. We just want to talk Chiefs with him. Please, hashtag where's country, tag Kingdom Cast, please.
I don't know why Boogie's like this, man.
Please, man.
You should have saw Boogie before we even started this episode, dog. He recorded a screenshot, 90 saying we should have listened to him the entire time about wide receivers. He tried to get his point vindicated, and I don't blame him. Boogie's been on it, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the results have shown. So, with that being said, that's going to conclude tonight's episode.
Bengals week, y'all.
Bengals week, Bungles week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share our social media platforms. Till the next one, we out.
Where you at, Sporting Boys? We know you come.
Yeah, we definitely know he's coming.